Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today is St. Patty's Day, so I'm not going to talk this way for the whole of you. For the introduction time being, I'm going to talk a little bit of an Irish, kind of Scottish accent that some people are going to get offended by. For the meantime, I'm here. Once again, this is Michael the Comic Nerd. I'm here with Sarah today, and we have just come from a wonderfully relevant movie, which is a wonderful... Oh, it's a great and powerful. It has lots of green, so it seems appropriate.
Quite.
I'm going to stop this now. Okay, anyway.
Very nice.
Okay, so yeah, we just got out of Oz the Great and Powerful, and you've been excited about this for a while, I know.
Yes, I have. I'm an Oz fan. The Wizard of Oz was the first play I was ever in.
And you've actually read the books, haven't you?
A fair amount of them, so I've always loved listening to stories, and
Just gonna roll down the windows a little bit, it's a little hot in here.
It is.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, my mom read certain book series to me. I never made it to the end of the series, but by, I want to say, the 7th book or so, I think there are 10 or 14.
A lot.
Yeah, it was a book series that started, the first book was published in 1900 and the last one was published in 1920. So it spanned quite a while, and I made it as far as either Ozma of Oz or The Scarecrow of Oz, which is about 4 or 5 books away from the end of the series.
Okay.
And
so that all being said, not to cut you off there,
sorry.
but what did you think?
I loved it. I really did. The visuals are absolutely stunning. They did make some interesting choices, and some parts are a little stereotypical, but it is a beautiful film.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. I didn't really have much expectations going into this, because I like Sam Raimi. I think Sam Raimi's a good director, but I didn't really know what to expect from this movie. But I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Elisa was originally going to join us for this one, but she had a family visiting over, so she had to drop out, which she missed out on the one good one we get this year. Aside from Side Effects, that was the only good one. But yeah, this was actually a pretty well-made movie, much to my surprise.
It's paced well. I thought the edits were amazing.
There were some questionable, there were some camera choices I thought were a little questionable.
A few.
It's the one kind of nagging issue I have is I'm still not quite sure. I think he got better as he went along, but I'm not entirely sold on James Franco in that particular role. I
can understand that. Towards the beginning, I kind of thought he was playing the character like a wimpy bitch. I mean,
I like the fact that I like that James Franco's actually trying to be charismatic. He's trying to be charming. I like that he's doing something a little different than he's done in other movies. But at the same time, for those who don't know, this is a role originally intended for Robert Downey Jr., so he's basically trying to replace the most charismatic and charming actor alive right now. So,
I did not know that. That's interesting.
So that's why you can kind of a little charming. That was all meant for Robert Downey Jr., so but he had to drop out because he had to do some other movie. I forget what it was. Probably, I think it was Sherlock Holmes or something. But
another one? Okay.
Oh, Sherlock Holmes 2 or something like that. Some other movie. But either way, and then James Franco took the role, so you can kind of tell where the influences were if you keep watching with that in mind, where it was kind of meant for more Robert Downey Jr., and I would have loved to see what he would have done with this, because I think it would have been great. But for what we got, I thought James Franco did a pretty good job. Not perfect. There's some parts I felt were a little forced, but
a little.
Overall, I thought he did well enough.
I mean, he is charming. He has a nice big smile, which is well utilized in the film.
But like you said, the world is gorgeous, the visuals are great, they're imaginative. I mean, I'm a little annoyed that pretty much all of it was CGI, but the CGI is still pretty good.
Yeah, and the effects are used well. They're used to move the story along. It's just not effects for the sake of effects.
That being said, I think I enjoyed the first half more than I did the second half, except for towards the very, very end. We'll get to that, but
okay.
It's the visuals are great. It had some of the stuff is just really gorgeous and really imaginative. The ruby flowers that bloom as you pass by.
Stunning. You can see this in 2D and it will still be amazing.
Although you can definitely tell those parts are meant for 3D.
Yeah.
It's kind of obnoxious when you watch it in 2D. like in those parts where it's kind of trying to grab you, like it's like, oh, this would be incredible if I had glasses. But I don't, so it doesn't really mean anything. But
well, there was one part in the dark forest where the monster's face came right at the screen. I'm glad that I didn't have glasses for that.
no, it's like even that I like that scene. There's a part like I think of 1/4 into the way in the movie where like how the story goes is you pretty much know from the trailers is it stars Oscar something as also known as Oz, who gets stuck in a tornado and ends up in the land of Oz, and everyone thinks he's the magical wizard that was prophesized for years to defeat the evil witch. So basically on his journey to go find the evil witch, you have to go through a dark forest. In the dark forest, he's recruited a flying monkey and a little China girl who I loved.
I loved her too. I really loved her. She was sweet and saucy and yeah.
I wanted her more in the movie.
Me too.
But anyway, and I'm gonna talk about her because she's kind of very I think she's the best thing that happened in this movie.
Easily, yes. Not that the rest is bad by any means.
No, but it's like,
but she's easily the showstopper.
Like I don't know if she was in the original book or if she's like a brand new creation, but
I'd have to go back and check.
Because either way, I thought she was fucking fantastic. But anyway, back to the Dark Forest. And what Shane's referring to is, I thought it was actually a fairly, like, it's a fun movie. It is, like, it's a fun fantasy movie. Because, like, it's of course, he's seen them done before, and Sam Raimi's just a perfect director to do this kind of thing, because he does it pretty much in every one of his movies. He knows how to balance that fun, cheesy element with kind of the more dramatic elements. He did that with the Spider-Man movies. Say what you will about Spider-Man 3, but,
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't hate as much as other people do, but I'm still like acknowledge it's a good movie, great movie. But anyway, and then like as they're walking through the dark forest, everyone gets creepy. And you see like his little yellow eyes that keep following behind him
in a dark background.
Dark background.
While
like,
the little China girl is freaking everybody else out. Saying, "Oh, do you think they're haunted? Are there ghosts? Or they're the undead?" And,
yeah, it's like,
and you see yellow eyes behind them.
And of course they keep disappearing. It's a very typical kind of like make fun of horror scene, but it's still done well in terms of like their evil plans. But it was still fun. It was still enjoyable. And now back to the China girl. What happens like what I liked about this movie is that I know from the original book that the character Oz himself is very much just a giant con man. Like he basically fools everyone to believing that he's this big great thing. I know one thing they don't do in the movies, but I know they did in the book was in fact the city itself was not emerald. He just have everyone wear green glasses to make them think that it's emerald.
That's right.
Which they have never done in the movies up to this point. Which I thought that was pretty clever in the original book, but. So I don't think we're going to get that, but still. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, China Girl.
Yes.
Does she even get a name?
No.
I think they just call her China Girl.
Yeah, they just call her China Girl, or Glinda calls her Child. There was one thing, I don't know if you picked up on this or not, at the beginning in Kansas when everything is in black and white, which is a nice touch, by the way.
Yeah.
When Oz is putting on his
I mean, cut you off
show.
there, but real quick about the black and white thing. Real quick before the chick to you is like, I thought that was clever. I thought that would have been better if they didn't show in every trailer. Just point that out there.
Fair enough.
Okay, back to what you were saying.
So you know how in the original Wizard of Oz movie there was a certain amount of foreshadowing in Kansas, where Dorothy has conversations with the
people she would meet in the with.
Yeah.
I call them that a little bit.
Yeah. So the girl in the audience when Oz is putting on his show in the traveling circus in Kansas, she asks him to make her walk, and then in Oz, he makes the China Girl walk.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I thought that was really nice, kind of. I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional.
No, that had to be intentional. There's no way.
I thought that was a nice kind of tie-in or nod to the original movie.
No, that had to be intentional. I don't think that'd be a massive coincidence if that was the case. But no, there's a few other things like that, like Zach Braff from Scrubs plays the assistant. I assume getting back to work, by the way. And he also voices the monkey butler in the
okay.
In the anime monkey, and I'm usually not a big fan of comedic sidekicks, but I actually liked him in this because a lot of stuff he's had to say was actually funny.
Yes.
Because it wasn't like, I don't know how well it would do with repeat viewings, but for the first time going, he was amusing, he was likable. And that goes for a lot of the characters. The characters are just likable. I mean,
Which is what you want in
exactly.
a film.
And it's like, these are likable characters, and you're rooting for them the whole way through. Except, I didn't quite buy the romance with the whole Mila Kunis thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Complete spoiler territory, by the way. If you,
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I recommend it. It's a good fantasy movie.
It's definitely worth seeing on the big screen. It's gorgeous.
I think it's better. I think it's better than a lot of the rap it's getting. But that's just my opinion. But
Likewise.
anyway, but what happens is, and I knew half of this was gonna happen halfway through, which is like, turns out, when he first lands in Oz, Mila Kunis finds him. She's like she's like a witch, and she brings him to the. Thinks he's a wizard and brings him back to the Emerald City to basically crown him king. And her sister, played by Rachel Weisz, who I love, by the way. I think she's a great actress. Mila Kunis is getting there, but
Well, at least she's dabbling in different roles.
true. I mean, I like Mila Kunis. Don't get me wrong. I just wouldn't call her a terrific actress yet.
She's working on it.
Yeah, like I said, she's getting better, but she's not quite there yet. Anyway, Rachel Weisz already passed her. It's already gotten there. She's a great actress. Even with the Mummy series, but yeah, it's good fun. Anyway, I'm rambling. Where was I going with this? Oh yes, the sisters. Okay.
Yes.
So
The Witch Sisters.
The Witch Sisters, and as soon as Rachel Weisz pops on screen, you know immediately she is the bad guy.
Yeah, you called it.
Yeah, it's like I knew. He walks in with like the dark, like the black feathers on the shoulders and the black green. I was like, gee, I wonder who the bad guy is. The second half I surprisingly didn't see coming, although I should have. Mm-hmm. Which is she tricks Mila Kunis because Mila Kunis falls in love with James Franco in this. In a matter of 5 seconds, really. But
Yeah.
which that part I didn't really buy. But other than that, like I kind of get why, because she's supposed to be like the naive girl, and
it was the first time that a guy gave her that type of attention.
yeah. So it's like I didn't call BS on it. And it worked well enough that I was willing to go with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I'm still not entirely convinced. But anyway, she finds out. So Rachel Weisz tricks Mila Kunis into believing that he's gone off with Glenda the Good Witch, who's also been framed for being the evil witch. This plot is actually kind of complicated when I say it out loud.
And I found it interesting that Glinda was taking refuge in the Dark Forest. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I didn't think Glenda was going to be this in all, quite frankly. I didn't know how much they were going to tie back into the original story. But anyway, so she tricks Mila Kunis and eating the apple, and she turns into the evil witch.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
The Wicked Witch of the West that pops up in the original Wizard of Oz. So of course you get the green makeup and the prosthetics, which actually look pretty good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, probably one of the few pieces of actual practical effects in the movie, which I was a little disappointed by.
Me too, because practical, if done right, is better than CGI in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and it's like, I mean, with stuff like this, you couldn't necessarily do it all in practical effects. It would have still been nice if they didn't do it entirely in green screen, though, which you kind of had a feeling they did.
Yeah.
So not a huge complaint, but enough of one, just a little irritated, but not enough to kill it for me.
Fair enough.
And she gets fucking it's like fucking ruthless. It's like
I actually liked the scene where she threw him around dancing. I thought that was a nice tie back.
I thought that might have been just a little bit too silly. I thought that was kind of pushing it a little bit, but overall I thought it was okay.
It was a mix of sinister and silly, yes.
Either way, I enjoyed watching James Franco be the con man. I liked seeing all the mechanisms behind that, and they really do go into the mechanisms. I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Especially in the finale. The finale is fantastic.
Yes.
Because it kind of started to lose me after the second half, because that's kind of when it's kind of stopped losing on the fantastic imagery and stuff like that, and kind of focused more on the stereotypical war against the evil empire kind of thing. So I was like, okay, it started losing a little bit. Then we got to the finale, where it makes use of the big giant projector head from the original story, and I thought that was fantastic.
That was smart.
Like, I thought that was really well done. I enjoyed every second of that scene. I was a little annoyed before then, because they kind of started doing that ho-hum, where they think he's really being selfish because he goes away from the group, and he starts like stashing gold in the air balloon they had one of the Tinkerers make. Mm-hmm. And you know how it's gonna go. You've seen the story plot 1,000 times. You know that, like, they even do the fake death shortly after. Like, you know that's not really his intention to go away. You know he's not dead. You know it's all a ruse. And guess what? He's not dead. It's all a ruse. Big shock.
Simple misdirection by a con artist.
Yeah, so it's like, well, they try to convince the audience of that. And it was like, come on, does anyone actually believe believe it. Unless you're 5, maybe you can fall for that. But otherwise, like, if the character dies, there is no more movie.
Yeah.
Either that or this is the darkest children's story ever made.
Well, I did read that the last book in the series is the darkest because of the author's failing health at that time. So it did get progressively darker as it went along.
Yeah, but still, like, anyone actually believe he was dead or that he was going away?
Oh, of course not, because this is the prequel.
Well, yeah, that too. But it's just speaking from strictly to story structure, there's like no fucking way, and of course not. But then they made use of the giant protector head, and clearly everyone involved in that scene was just having a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
Like James Franco is just hamming it up like crazy. There's fireworks everywhere. It's a lot of fun. I was smiling through that whole scene, and the one part is like I thought you could have done without the fight scene that came right afterwards.
Oh, the witch battle.
In the witch battle, because in this movie, Rachel Weisz ended up killing Glenda the Good Witch's father, so she kind of goes up. They have their little battle at the very end. You could have done without that. I think you could have cut out that whole scene. It would have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad scene, but I can see your point about how it wasn't necessary.
It seemed just kind of like an excuse to get like one final action sequence in there. But
Maybe.
like really, I thought you should have just ended it on the giant head, like the giant head. I thought that would have been a perfect way to end that particular conflict. But that's just me. It's like, I thought the scene was just so good, and that scene was just gonna, So it's like it's kind of a ho hum way to end it. But that's just me. Maybe other people disagree, but.
What did you think of the ending when he granted them wishes?
I thought that was a nice throwback to the original story, because again, that's kind of what the wizard does. He just he tricks people, and like in this case, he makes little fibs to make people feel better about themselves. He does it in the original story with like the cowardly lion and all that stuff. Not in the way the movie does. Like in the book, way I understand, he actually kind of tricks him. Yeah. By like filling like the scarecrow's head with like nails and all kinds of random crap, and telling him he has a brain and stuff like that. Which again, it's clever. It's cleverly done. So I was very impressed. One little thing I kind of wish they made more of is halfway through, like again, the quarter of the way through the movie, the China girl, when they're in the dark forest, just suddenly pulls out a shiv.
Yes.
And it's like,
I'm made of China. I have to protect myself somehow.
I just kind of wanted that to come back into play somehow. Just like someone just like shivving somebody. Like no one likes a rat. I don't know. It's like little touches like that. Like Sam Raimi is really just good at balancing those corny elements with those fantastic elements, and he finds a way to have the good with the bad kind of thing. Like it's cheesy, but it's still fun.
And I really liked how she played the wizard. She cries to
Oh, we're talking about Mila Kunis here?
No, China Girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they're on their way to the Dark Forest, and he doesn't want her to get hurt, and he doesn't want to be responsible for her, and she says, "But I want to go with you," and she starts crying, and And as soon as she stops crying, she totally does 180 and says, "Yes, let's go get ourselves a witch."
I don't know who designed this character or who animated her. Either way, they just did. You immediately want to help this girl. Like from the minute, like it's the helpless little girl act, but they do it so well, and it so easily toys with my emotions. She was my favorite part of the movie by far. I think of all things they, whether good or bad, that's the one they just did spot on, perfect. I think.
Agreed. Yeah, it's worth seeing alone just for the China Girl because she is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's like I really enjoyed this movie. It's like what else is there to talk about?
I'm a little curious. What did you think of the opening credits? Because watching that immediately drew me in and put a smile on my face.
See, it gave me to give clarification on this. It gave me a very big Tim Burton vibe. The intro, because like,
okay,
what it is, it's kind of like those classic puppets, you know, where there's an image on a stick and you kind of move it around like that.
Shadow puppets.
Shadow puppets. So it's like a bunch of those, and it was very imaginative.
Bless you. Bless you.
Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, it was good. Like I said, it drew me in, got my attention. The movie did a good job of holding my attention through the whole thing. Even when it started kind of drag a little bit towards the second half, I thought you could have got a little bit of preparation out of it. But overall, I'd say this is definitely worth checking out.
Yes, and so it's clear who our favorite character is.
I would say so, yes.
So who is your personal least favorite character in it, or who would you say is the weakest link?
I would say there's a little character, one of the little people, Nook, who they keep bringing up for a little bit, but there's really not much to him.
Yeah, he's a sourpuss, as Oz calls him.
But there's this little chaperone guy, short guy named Nook, who I swear wants to talk like a gangster.
Yes.
They keep kind of like, he keeps going, "What's up, wizard?" Like that. I'm waiting to go like, "What up, cracker?" It's like stuff like that. That's kind of the way he talks though for like the whole movie, and it's like okay, man, you're kind of supposed to be with them towards the very end. And like, I thought they did that better with like the monkey and the China girl. Was like they kind of built those characters up a little bit.
They did.
I did like the little throwbacks to other parts of the original movie. Like I like the little reference to the Cowardly Lion. I like the reference to the scarecrows. I was surprised it wasn't a Tin Man reference.
Me too. I was kind of looking for that.
Now, answer me this. I saw it in the credits that Bruce Campbell is somewhere in this movie. Do you have any idea where the hell he was?
No.
I swear it's like a game of Where's Waldo. I was looking for him. I couldn't find him. Because it was in the opening credits. I saw Bruce Campbell's like, oh, Bruce Campbell's in here. Sweet, where does he play? And I never saw him. So I don't know if he was like behind the scenes or he was like an extra that was in the back corner. Maybe it really is a game of Where's Waldo, because I know Sam Raimi likes to throw him in every movie he makes.
Maybe he was in the opening scene when they're still in Kansas. Maybe he was
the strong man.
Yeah, that's what
That's actually a very distinct possibility. I don't know. Either way, it's like, oh, by the way, how cool is it to see like an old school circus again?
Yes, I loved that.
Like old school, like 1920s circus.
Well, when it opens up, it says Kansas 1905.
So even earlier than that.
Yes.
Either way, I thought that was a nice touch. Stuff like that. It's a fun movie. If you want a good, fun fantasy movie, it's better than Jack the Giant Slayer.
By far. By far.
Because this one knows how to do its fantasy elements right. It has good pacing. Acting is kind of hit and miss in some places, but overall pretty good.
And yeah, I know I'm repeating myself, but the visuals are stunning. It sounds epic, and I know that word is thrown around a lot, but it's heck the name of one of the trailers we got. But yeah, that being said, segue. I recommend seeing Oz the Great and Powerful. It is gorgeous.
Okay, let's talk about the trailers, because we pretty much got a trailer for every animated movie between here and the end of summer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because the first one, we got one for The Crooks, what comes out next week, and it could be fun. Looks okay.
The jokes they showed in the trailer made me laugh a few times. It has potential.
It's like it's DreamWorks animated. They have a very reputation of big hit and miss movies.
Yes, they do.
I mean, I love Kung Fu Panda. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I think they're both great movies. I even like Madagascar too, I think. But so yeah, it's like it could be fun. It has Nicolas Cage, so I'm gonna see it regardless. I think me and Grant are checking that one out next week, so we'll see how that one goes. And then we got one for Epic.
Yep.
Which is, I'm not sure about the story, but the animation is gorgeous.
It is, and
I mean, it is fucking gorgeous.
It is.
Like, I almost want it to be like a silent movie, where like it's all told through visuals. It could easily pull that off. Like it's just told completely through these beautiful like scenery, like this. It's basically Ferngully 3, but.
Although Ferngully 2 sucked.
Well, yeah, it was straight to DVD, but it's sad that I know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, the story, it's basically about a girl who gets shrunken down to a small people and finds this whole, like, civilization of little leaf men who have to guard them from the evil Bugmen, I guess. I don't know. I know the villain is played by Christopher Waltz, so...
I didn't quite catch what the villain was in...
I don't know what he was. They only showed for like 1 second. I heard it long enough to recognize that was Christopher Waltz playing his voice.
Nice.
So there's something to look forward to on that.
Oscar winner now.
Yep, Oscar winner. Twice now, actually, when you think about it. Good for this Inglourious Bastards.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, well... I mean, like, the story looks okay. Like, it's good until they talk. But it's like, just for the visuals alone, I think it'll be worth checking out. I'll find out when that movie comes out sometime this year, over the summer. And then we got one for Despicable Me.
Me Too.
Despicable Me 2. I never saw the first one, and I have seen like 3 trailers for this one now. 3 different trailers, and for the life of me, I cannot tell you what the fucking movie's about.
Yeah, so I never saw the first Despicable Me in the theater. I saw it on DVD at a friend's house, and it's a very cute film.
By the way, nice shirt. I just noticed.
Thank you. Well, there is method to my madness.
Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. I just got my digital little 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. Back to Despicable Me 2.
I heard Oz. Yeah. So the first Despicable Me, as I recall, focused on the human characters and the glow stick minions, or the minions.
The glow stick minions?
On the DVD, there's a deleted scene where they swallow glow sticks.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like, what do you like? Snap them in half and they light up? What the hell?
So that's my memory reference for them. I personally call them the glow stick minions. They're basically the minions.
They advertise them like crazy. You know what they are.
Yeah. So in the trailer, it shows them getting abducted.
And that's about all we know.
Pretty much.
Like, we haven't even seen one clip of Steve Carell as Gru.
No, not
any trailer I've seen anyway. So it's like, we'll see how that turns out. And then we got a kind of clever trailer for Monsters University.
Yeah,
it's all framed around like a classic college commercial, which I thought was actually pretty clever.
It was. It had me fooled for a second.
Like, I was actually kind of laughing to myself. It's like, okay, so we've got Despicable Me 2, we've got Epic, and we've got The Crooks. All we need is a trailer for Monsters University, and we have the entire anime palette. Next thing you know, we get the university side. It's like, oh, yep, called it.
Yep.
But it's like, I've seen the actual trailer for it. It's like, it could be okay. I mean, I was never a huge fan of the original. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great, but it was Pixar. I mean, it wasn't Pixar's best, but it's still Pixar, so it's still good.
It was heartwarming. It was Billy Crystal and John Goodman.
And I love John Goodman, don't get me wrong. But that's made clear in my Christmas special. Anyway. But yeah, so it's like kind of hit and miss animated movies there. So we'll find out over the summer when those come out. We literally got no live action movies. It was all animated cartoons.
Back to back to back to back.
So yeah.
That's it for the trailers.
Any final thoughts? Anything last thing you want to
say? If you're a fantasy fan or an Oz fan, or you just want to see some gorgeous visuals on the screen, I highly recommend seeing Oz, the Great and Powerful. It is stunning. I recommend it too. I think it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It's probably the best movie I've seen in a while. That isn't really saying much, but considering the last movie I saw was 21 and Over. Anyway, so yeah, I'd recommend it. I think it's a good, fun fantasy film. It's Sam Raimi. He's got his classic little cheesiness thing going for it. So if you enjoy that, you'll like this movie. And you'll love the China Girl. Like, if you like Spider-Man 1 and 2 and you liked Darkman, you'll probably like this movie. I think it's probably a good way to put it. If you don't like cheesy, if you prefer more serious, like fantasy stuff, like Neverending Stories and like that, you're probably not gonna like this. But I enjoyed it. I had fun. That's about all I have to say about it. So yeah, go check it out. And next week we will have Burt Wonderstone. We were gonna do it this weekend, but we had scheduling conflicts. Because keep in mind when I'm making these things, we have school, we have personal lives, we have work and all that stuff. So basically trying volunteering, other obligations. Yeah, so basically and I'm not paying anyone yet. So basically trying to get everyone here to do these things is like herding cats. Yes. So we're gonna try to get together for Burt Wonderstone next week. I think Cliff and Elisa are gonna do that one. Nice. And then I'm gonna see if so far it's just me and Grant. We'll see who else I can get to go see the Crooks as well. We were gonna see Up on Pompey Hill, but apparently the only place it's playing is like New York and LA. So we're obviously not taking a trip 5 hours to go see a movie. No. So we're probably gonna wait to see if that gets wide release somewhere close by, and if we can, we'll check it out. But yep. If you haven't seen already, we have a new Facebook page, so link will be in the description. Go ahead and like that, show your support. Yeah, like us on Facebook. Like us on Facebook and do all that stuff. So far we got 40 likes, but that's mostly because I spammed everyone I know on my friends list. But and I think it came up in my newsfeed that I liked it. So. Okay, so either way, I think it's all we got. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day. Turn off, damn you.